Thanks. Okay, so let's go through the first one, which are the requirements. Now, my understanding, Priyanka, correct me if I'm wrong, these are from all your users. The users have given you these are requirements for timetabling. Is that correct?
Sean, can you confirm on that?
Okay, so I'll answer for this. Um, this entire Excel is not really requirement in the sense of function specs. So this is one of
This
the
is a
scheduling
subset.
exercise that
Yeah.
we need to do, and this is the most complex scheduling exercise that we need to do. Of course, there are some items that are not, like for example, a lecturer's name. We have not put in lecturer's name. We have put in lecturer one, lecturer two, etc. So this is the requirement for one of the scheduling exercise that we are doing.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
So
you've
we have
captured.
multiple, and
Uh,
those will be simpler in terms of this. So what we
okay.
need from the demo session is really to show us how, time edit can do it, and then after that, from there on, we can also further develop our own strategies for other scaling exercises. They are less
So,
complex. Yeah.
So Trevor, in a sense, right? So this is just a subset of our full requirements, but definitely this is one of the most complicated subset, or one of the, we have tried to list down the most complicated use case that we have. And, I think it will, I think by the demo session, once we have, we try and achieve this, I think we will be able to achieve most of the other requirements.
okay, I completely understand. Thanks for that clarification. Let's move on from here. Okay, each subject and group has 2 lessons in a week for 10 weeks, 20. That's okay, that's not a problem. Each lesson has a duration of 3 hours, adhering to the time slots stipulated below. Where's the time slots?
After this
Scroll
table.
down,
That's
please. Yes, right. Yes.
so it's go down, is it? Scroll down. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
scroll down.
Uh,
Yeah.
So these are time slots. AM 8:30 to 11:30, 12 to 3. Okay, got it already.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Same subject and group should fall on the same days for all 10 weeks. Okay.
So, yeah.
Anything you want to add for this?
Um, no.
Why were you having problems with this? Actually, all quite standard, actually. This.
Yeah,
Were you
standard.
having challenges? Were you having challenges with your
Uh,
CVS now?
until you go through the program structure, the lecture planner, then it will be the full complexity of this thing. Because under program structure, there you will show you what subject cannot clash, and then after that, we still have student fitting. The student need to be balanced. We cannot have like 80% of student in one group and then 20% in the other group. Then that's not balanced. That kind of requirement. So for this first requirement, it is in general quite easy to fulfill. But as you go through the requirement, when we go over to the program structure, the lecturer's planner, meaning the lecturer's availability, then the complexity will increase.
Got it. Okay, understand. RJ, you got anything to ask for this one? The first one?
No. Well, it's all about the data collection here, and this is for us straightforward to collect this, and the scheduling. Well, we work with some hard constraints. What I see here. So then, well, let's say, but I'm already go to, for example, number 2, only Monday to Friday lessons. Well, that's a hard constraint. Easy. Period. It's also we make it a hard constraint. Singapore holidays. Well, we have something for that as well to record that. I see sequencing. So is it line number 6? That's also straightforward, and the same group. Yeah. So numbers, or sorry, that's 7 then. 1 day interval. Well, that we have functionality for that, which with the name padding. So we can say, okay, lesson. Let's say lesson L01. There needs to be a 1 day in between for L02, then we just add padding of 24 hours, for example. Then the shouldn't be a Monday and Friday lesson for the same subject of the same class. So you do not want to have too much time in between. So it's the reverse of padding, actually. Yeah, okay. That's something we need to look into because I don't see straightforward a solution for that. But let's see. You're looking at balancing the groups. And what do you mean with balancing the students of the same group? What do you mean with that?
So for that, there's in SIM we have expected enrollment for a particular subject, enrollment
Yeah.
size. So let's say we are looking at 160 packs, and we want to divide this group of students into two. So the most direct way to group them is to cut them by half. 80 packs in one group, 80 packs in another group. But because of different combination and things like that, sometimes you may not have 80-80. You might go something like 70 and 90, And then after that, between these two groups, the difference needs to be kept within 10%.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that I understand. And then it's also the question of the right moment. So do you decide who is in the group before you schedule or after you schedule?
Okay, so for SIM, we do not dictate that. So we can assign the student first, or we can schedule the date time first before we assign the students. But of course, if we assign date time to the schedule first, the risk is that we may not be able to balance the student due to their subject combinations. So it may be a lopsided.
For example, it's a lot easier if you say beforehand, let's say 80 go to this group and 80 go to this group. Then basically you have the split done already, and then the students in that group become a constraint.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Right. So when we progress to the program structure, I think it will gives you a bit more idea of why we have splitting of groups and also number of students.
No, okay. I think I can work around that. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Sure.
Yeah.
What is this? Assuming there are 24 rooms, is that related to 10 or different? Assuming there are 20.
No, because now if you go over to program structure, it will show you all the subjects that this group of students, or rather, all the subjects that this university, our university partner, has. And each of the column, if you look at the program, BIZ 38, 39, 40, all the way to 46, that refers to our intake for different program. Okay, so because one intake that comes in, they will have 3 years of study. So you see that there are intake number. You see 21. That means is year 2021. They join as a student. Then after that they have been taking lesson, and most likely those SU 21, is their last term already. So they are most likely taking their projects or capstones for some other universities. Then after that, as you progress, you see that some of the students need to take some of the program will have some subjects that they must take. Like for example, if you look at column K, you have 15 students in that intake. Okay, 15 students will need to take a subject called MUS 115. And then after that, the same group of students need to take APY 106, as well as BIZ 44. So column L, they have 22 students. These 22 students will also need to take APY 106. So they will share the same class as these two programs. These two group of students will be in the same class for that subject. And if you look at the subject we are looking at the capacity, column C, capacity of 80 packs. And then we'll have two groups. In total, we should be able to fit in 160 students. Then if you go right all the way and you look at column 7, you see that the total packs it may not equals to 160. So we may have like 150 something students, 154
Okay, wait, so slow
under
down.
total. Yeah, so that's
Let me clarify a bit. So let's take a bit of time to clarify this. So you
Sure.
have program, you understand this. Intake number is okay. So like I say, SU21, they have BIS 38. They also will be taking BAC 37. Is that correct?
No,
SU21.
these two is two different program already. So SU21 basically is summer. So if you look left to right, it is summer 21, fall 21, spring 22, summer 22, fall 22. So these are all individual intakes in the year. And then after that, BIZ is the program. So BIZ 38 means it is the intake for summer 21. Then BIZ 34 is that program's intake for fall 21. So all these are individual columns are individual group of students for their respective program.
Okay, so okay, got it. So this is SU21, BIS 38 program. Then the 7 here means what? The 7 here.
It's the number of students.
Number of students that is in this intake, summer 21.
Yes.
Right, for BIS 38, 7 students. Okay. 66
Yes.
students
66
for
students.
okay, 18, and then so on and so forth. RG, any questions before we go on to the next one?
No, it's just the student groups. That's all right. And what we do is we say, okay, a particular student group, we match that with the module. So we make a relation between the two. That's all right.
Yeah. So I see here under BIS 38, SU21, they are taking a module UBC 399, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the relation we make.
Yeah, that's the relation. I got that. But only one module. Sometimes they might have more.
Yes.
For
Because
example,
it's their last last term.
Okay, that's we make the relation, no problems.
Yeah, and then
So
they
if
have
you
13
notice
students
on-
of 421 taking.
Yeah. So if you notice on column D, you see that some of the subject will have one group, some of the subjects have two groups.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we talk about student balancing, we're looking at those that has two or more. So for example, let's say we are looking at sorry, can you scroll down a bit? Or maybe it's up. Let's find one that's a lot of numbers on one cluster together. If you can scroll up. Oh, Trevor froze
Can you
already.
go up, Trevor?
Trevor?
I think he froze.
Maybe it's a network issue.
Is it that cold in Singapore? Something's moving.
Okay. Okay, Trevor, sorry,
only
can
have
you go
68
up?
record.
Yeah.
How about, okay.
Let's go out and find a space where there's a lot of numbers.
There's number 4
clustered
on,
together. Yeah,
on
yeah.
68. On number 68, I could see 4 for column D. Number 68.
No, that one is.
No. Okay,
That
you
one
tell
is for
us
their
which
final
one
year.
you want to explain.
What's this? Okay, maybe here is good. Okay, so if we look at API 106, now we have two groups.
Serial number 4, Trevor. Serial number 4, please.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Serial number 4. You need to go up.
This one, right?
Serial number 4, column A, red value 4.
Yeah.
Is it APY 106? You want to take a look at that?
Row
yes,
7.
it's at the top.
Row 7.
Yeah.
Row 7.
Yeah, I'm showing it now. Can you see?
No, I think it's a
The
bit lagging.
screen is now at the bottom.
Sanusa, why don't you take in the screen sharing? Would you be able to? Because you have a better internet connection, I believe.
Yes. Okay, let me share my screen then.
Sure. Right.
Wait, can you see my screen first? Can you see my screen now?
I think Trevor, there's some sort of lagging.
Yeah.
Lagging.
Yeah. Never mind, we get Sanuza to share her screen. Then you can share the notes. All right. Yeah. So I think we're talking about.
Oh,
All right.
yep.
Okay. Okay, APY 106. For example, this subject, we have two groups, and then after that, if you look at column K and column L, you have 15 students and 22 students. So how many of these 15 students needs to go into group 1 or group 2? How many of these 22 students need to go into group 1 or group 2? If we go right more, you see more students that needs to go in. So
58,
the
59.
most direct manner that we were using is to just push the whole program. For example, column K, 15 students, all go into group 1. Then after that, column L, the 22 students, all go into group 2,
First come,
right?
first serve,
And
is it? Is
no,
it?
not first come,
Yeah.
first serve. Because if you look at column AB and AE, you look at 58 and 59. So those are very big groups.
I
So we
see.
cannot
Okay.
just put the column K and column L students together. We need to put like, for example, column AB is 58 students. We will put them with 22 packs. Then it will form like 70, 80 students.
I
And then
see. Okay.
column AE and column K, we put them together, 59 plus 15. So it will be 60, 74. So in this case, it will be quite balanced. 74 versus 80 is quite balanced,
I
these two
see.
groups. But that may not be the best combination that we can get, because with that students in, it may restrict the timetable in a certain way that there are other subject clashes, because different program, different students will be taking different subjects. And if we link the relationship together, it might be one whole big list. So in the terms of program structure or subject combination that we've done before, just this combination itself will have hundreds of them. Different subject, different combination. That's what we have.
And
That's what
how
we
do
have
you do
done.
that now?
Huh?
How do you make that combination, or how do you make that balance now?
Now we have the challenge of making that balance. So we will always need to go back to the users, tell them we can't balance, and then
Oh,
they
but
will
how are you
feedback.
balancing? Are
Sorry?
you manually balancing it on an Excel sheet or what? How do you balance this now?
We are using the system to balance. So for now, the most direct manner when I look at this, I mean, just now what I mentioned was really just based on that one line to balance. If we're looking into scheduling, if I don't do
Mhm.
any students allocation first, and if I find timetable first, I will need the system to allocate the student to balance the students.
So currently, Sean,
So
this is
currently we
managed
are doing
via
that.
the system, or do you do it manually
We do it via the system. So
via
we
the
call it
system?
student
Okay.
fitting,
Okay.
but we may not be able to balance the number of students with that current student fitting algorithm. Is that clearer?
So means to say you are currently using the system to do the student fitting, but you
Yes.
still, but you want some improved and enhanced ways to do student fitting, is it?
Mhm.
Because maybe some manual intervention is currently required, and you want that to
Mm,
be also fully managed by the system.
it's not really manual method. It's when we run the system, we try to fit all the students and make it balance. But we will what to say? It is difficult to achieve 100% balance. So there will be bound to have some subjects that's not balanced, and then that will be an issue. Issue in a sense where the user will not be satisfied with the results, but it doesn't mean that they can't run. It may cause some issue for them, but it's not a big issue. Of course, currently we're also exploring other means of doing balancing ourselves. So we are trying to see how can we split the students based on this program structure to make it more available, to make to have lesser constraint. That means
Mhm.
if we are looking at just the subject and the program structure itself, we will come up with a certain level of constraint. Okay, but we are looking at another method, okay, to allocate student to the event first. That means allocate student to the group and subject first before we run the schedule. So in that sense, we are trying to balance the student first before we allocate, and then the timetable will have a different constraint altogether. But we can ensure that it is balanced. So this is something that we're exploring now. So in
Arjun,
this demo session, we are trying to see what time edit can do. Whether is it to allocate student first, or maybe to find a timetable first and then put in the students, or everything at the same time. That means you can create. Is there any possibility that time edit can create one subject, and then after that we are saying that this subject got two groups, and this subject will have like 150 students. Okay, so while running this scheduling, can we have the timetable and students balance at the same time? That means we don't run timetable first, we don't run
Yeah.
student fitting first, we run both at the same time. Or what are the methods that we can explore?
Okay, so there are more than one ways to achieve the same objective. You are still open to consider which way time edit is, able to achieve your objective.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I must emphasize that in this demo, what we actually want to see is not to see how you fulfill the entire requirement. Is to really see how time edit can run. And
That's
then
the
what
flow.
are the
Yeah, the
restriction and
complete.
constraint? What is
Yeah,
the
no,
workflow that we can work together? And then after that, I mean, once we understand how it works, then we can come up with our own scheduling strategy, which will be very different with our current system because
sure.
of how things are run. Yeah.
Okay, good.
But then,
yeah,
Robert,
this
do
is
you have any? Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
these are good information for us, and also additional information that we have not heard before. I think this is the first time we're hearing about the requirements for a student allocation. So this is good information that we need. Now for both some of our clients, TP, Temasek Poly, and RP, they also do student allocation, but both do it very differently. They do it at different stages. So we can show you some of the different ways we can do that.
Mm,
And time edit also has a module that does allocation also as well. So there are different ways to approach the problem. What I would request for is, Sean, if you don't mind, send
Mhm.
us you have a workflow kind of thing that you are doing. For example, you set up the timetable, then you feed the students, or you do that concurrently. You can just show us a bit about what you're currently doing. I do not know whether you have a flow chart or something like that. Then we can have a better understanding of what you're currently doing. That will help us.
Actually, we don't really have a workflow because each scheduling has very different approaches and requirement. So we don't really stick to a very detailed workflow. So what we do is that of course, pre-scheduling we will have all those setup, creation of all those. In our system is event creation. So we create the event individually. We tag what is the week range they will need. What's the time, what's the duration, etc. And then after that, we will tag the subject as well. Then after that, we'll apply constraints like is there any sequencing to it? Is there any day gaps? What's the maximum day? What's the minimum day of gap that we can have? And then after that, other constraints like lecturers availability. We'll tag all the lecturers and then indicate when are they not available. So the system will know when they are open and slot them according to all the requirements.
Okay.
So in this table where we have the lecturer planner, okay. For example, if you look at the first one, the lecturer availability is Monday, Thursday, 8:30 a.m. So this lecture is only available at this time slot. Okay. And then after
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
this lecture is only teaching days. So, these kind of things. So in our planning stage, this will all be drafted by the users. They'll send it to us. We will need to convert this into a timetable. So they will do their event creation, they will do their sequencing, they will tag everything, and then to us, they give us. And then we don't have a definite way of running. we will need to, for our program structure, we will create it in Excel, upload into the system, and then once we have the structure, it will tell the system that this group of subject cannot clash, that group of subject cannot clash, etc. And then once we do the uploading, we will then try to start running the date time. Okay. Of course, through experience, we know that some of the lecturers are more, their restriction is higher, their constraint is higher. It's very hard to schedule. So we'll run those lecturers first. Then after we proceed to other lecturers, etc. And then once we come up with a timetable for the full programs, or for all the programs, all the modules, and all the groups, we will then feed students. Currently, our method is to feed students after coming out with the timeline. But I realize that we may not be able to feed student, in a balanced distribution. Sometimes it may be like lopsided. So we will need to, in a way, rerun the schedule. So we need to unschedule those that is, the those affected, and also those that are indirectly affected. That means they are constrained by the subject combination. Then after that, we will need to rerun and find another, date and time suitable. So that was our problem for the last few runs of this university, this partner. Okay, and then after that, now we're coming out with new strategies. Should we enroll, not enroll student, as in, should we tag the students into their group first, find a way to reduce the constraint, then we will run again. So once we run finish, sometimes the lecturers are not available, they cannot teach. We will still schedule them into those time slot, and then we will seek help from users to contact the lecturers. Is this something that they can accept? Is it a hard rule that I cannot teach? No, Monday 8:30 means totally no, or maybe 8:30 can, but maybe the lecturer may need to do some adjustment on his or her side. That kind of adjustment. So what we are trying to achieve is really to come up this timetable once, approach the user once, and get them to check with the lecturer if they are able to accept. If they are all able to accept, then when the lecturer come back and say yes, everything can be confirmed, then we can have the timetable ready. The current issue is that we come up with a timetable, we do our student fitting, the student fitting is not balanced. But as and when we try to schedule, like you mentioned during the the webinar, okay, it's not a magic button click and then everything comes. There's a lot of adjustment that needs to be done. So during this adjustment, we need to be communicating with our users, and the users may need to open up more time slots for the lecturers. In a sense, talk to the lecturers, ask them whether can they open up more availability so that we can slot in and things like that. So there's a lot of communication in between, and then they may have persuade the lecturers to open up their availability. The lecturers back end may have shifted their commitment because of this. But after we finish the timetable and run the student fitting, we find that student doesn't fit, and we need to unschedule, and we may need to ask the lecturer to open up something else. So in that sense, in this kind of communication, the lecturers have already committed that I can open up this. I have shifted my personal commitment outside, and then after you tell them, oh sorry, it doesn't work, you can put back, I need another time. This kind of inconvenience caused to the lecturers is a big issue. So we want to avoid that. We just want to go to the users once, go to the lecturers once, ask them whether can they open up. If they can open up, we will straight away close case, confirm everything, and then that will be the timetable we can give to our users, to the students. Yeah, so so we don't really have like, oh, should I feed student first or should I do this? Which step come first? It is all based on whenever things come, we press the button, it works. It will work lah. So we press the button. What happened? What's the thing that we need to do? We need to solve it step by step. Then after that, when we solve it, we'll press the button again to see what is happening. Any other things that we need to resolve, we resolve, and then press the button as many times as we need until we come up with a timetable. So at different point in time, we are trying to solve different things. So I don't really have a detailed what I do in each exercise.
I think this is very, very helpful. A few questions. Where does the student select their options? I'm assuming it's on your student management system portal site, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
whatever that we
Are you
are
using Oracle now or your own in-house
in-house
system?
Oracle, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So
Oracle. Yeah.
you open up to the student to make their selection. They have mandatory courses, they have electives, they will make all their selection, correct?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Then after that, is this data is integrated into your current timetabling system after the selection? Or
Yes.
do you manually download it and then upload it to your timetabling system? What's happening now?
Integrated.
Integrated.
Okay. So your
Yeah.
system will then have all your student selection, the courses that they select, the electives, the modules, all these things will be coming from your student
How
management
to
system.
say, when we are doing, before we do scheduling, all core data creation is through the student management system. And once they created the core data, it will be synchronized into the booking system that we have, or the timetabling system that we have. Okay, and then it will just create things like, okay, what is the program, what is the subject in this program, how many expected enrollment we are looking at, how many groups we have, and then the users will go into the system and start to request for booking by creating events. Okay.
Okay.
Then after that, we will run our schedule like what we mentioned just now, and all this schedule timetable, date, time, venue is being allocated. It will then be synchronized back into the management system. Okay. Then after that, students will then be able to see what date, what time is this particular lesson. Then they will choose what lesson to enroll to. So all this that you see now, this requirement is all the universities or the users projection. This is their projection. So we are using their projection to run the timetable for them, and then students will then be able to see what subject they can take on their in the management system.
Okay, so you're publishing the timetable in your management system at the moment.
Yes.
After you timetable, you push back the timetabling schedule to your management system, to the management system. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's clear. Okay. The other thing to ask is inside your Excel sheet, I didn't notice any venues. Do you have any venue data?
I think he did mention very briefly in the very first step. You go to requirement.
Yeah.
He mentioned how many meeting rooms.
So just assume that you have 24 rooms, each capable holding of 150 students. That's all.
No,
So
but
you can.
you don't have like venues like as in a proper data structure of like lecture, your
Actually
lecture
have lah, but
A.
it's too it's too many. So if I give you all this data, you can easily fit it in, because the thing is, we have a lot of venues, right? So what we want to why am I not including all this in here is really to see how can this system fit all these requirements when we only have 24 rooms. It should be more than enough, because in this demo there is no other bookings, no events, nothing. But for SIM, we have other events, we have other programs that's running, a lot of other subjects. So availability is very low. So we want to see how, because if I don't include this line, I give you one whole list of room, will there be a possibility that we have, because we have so much resource, then the limitation is not as limited anymore. You understand what I'm trying to say? That means now, let's say if I don't remove the room, then end up actually SM we have 100 room. Then you can squeeze everything, same day,
Yeah,
same
no,
time. Yeah, and then end up it will be an issue, because in the real life situation, these 100 rooms may be used for other things.
Yeah, got it,
Not
got it.
just available for this. Yeah, so that's why I didn't really mention, what kind of room types you have, all these. If I include room types, it will be a bit more complicated. If you go to the program structure, then we need to tell you this one need to use LT or use SR or use labs, etc., which we take it out, because I understand this is a demo, and all these restriction maybe it's too many,
Okay,
And
I understand
yeah.
already. So basically, you're just saying that within this demo constraint, work within 24 rooms, each room is up to 150 packs.
Yes, just assume that we got 24 rooms. Each room can
Yeah.
seat 150 students. There's no
Yeah.
need to say like, oh, it's only 20 students. 150. If I go into a room with 150 packs, is a waste of resource. That consideration is we don't look at it here for now. We
And,
just assume that we have 24 rooms. That's the constraint that we have.
and you also want to see some, got it. You also want to see some student fitting also as well, for sure, right?
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, okay, uh, it is a balance, the difference is only 10%. Don't have to be. If you can fit a student, you can fit something along the line where, 150 students, you split a 50 and 100 in two different groups. I think that's okay. Because what we want to see is what is the capability of this system. About the actual balancing, I mean, it is part and parcel of what we are doing now. Of course, if you can balance 10% difference, that's the best scenario. Yeah, that means this system is very advanced. Or maybe if it is still under development, this module is under development, there are still improvement being made to this module. It is not balanced 10% difference. There may be like 50 or 50% difference. I think it's still okay. What we want to see is the capability of what or how time edit is running scheduling. And after that we can assess what are the other things that we need to do it manually. Then in future, is there any chances of development to improve all these kind of things? Yeah, that's what we are looking at in this demo session.
Okay, I got it. RJ, any other further questions you need for clarification for Jordan or for yourself?
No, these are yeah, I understand all of them, and then the most of them are straightforward.
Yeah. Well, do you think RJ will be showing them our T allocate as part of the demo as one of the options?
That is certainly an option. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So Priyanka, just to take note that because this is something new that we are finding out, that is your requirement. This is something that we have not budgeted for in some of our proposals.
Oh, no
After
worries. Definitely, we do understand that one is a budgeted one that you shared with me. Of course, the actual one we will be definitely is something that we'll be sharing with the rest of the teams. Yeah. So I do
yeah,
understand where you're
because
coming from.
yeah. Because after our evaluation from the demo, I might recommend to you that there might be additional cost to factor.
Modules required,
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah, because
Understand.
this is like a whole set of new requirements to actually allocate the students. I don't think we have
Understand.
spoken in detail about this, but now through this
Sure.
exercise, we're getting a lot more clarity on the requirements. Yeah.
Yep. But I'm glad that at least you have a module that can cater to our solutions. So yeah, that's a good news. Yeah. Costing definitely is can be discussed later on. No worries on that.
All right, so I'm good on my side also as well. I think give us next week, early next week, we will get back to you on when we can start to do the demo. It will take I mean, will at least give us some time to set up the data,
Sure. Noted.
and
Yeah.
then we'll try to aim for I guess RJ maybe third week of March. For
Yeah.
yep.
Let's check with Jordan. So
Yep.
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 Sure, no worries. Just keep us posted when you guys are ready. If in case you require another clarification session, also just let us know. We'll just be happy to assist you on the clarifications.
Yeah. But Sean, thanks. That was very, very helpful. You really know very clearly what you guys are doing. Very awesome. Really.
No choice.
Is
My
it
rights
that?
go. Actually, I have another request. So for the demo session, are you able to show us resource management, how it works in time edit? For example, room is one of our resource, right? So is there any other resources that you can include in? For example, things like whiteboard. We have
Of course.
usable whiteboard,
Markers.
and then in our system, whiteboard is one item, and we may have 10 of such quantity. Can we attach 10 of this, a certain amount of this into any bookings or any, what do you call it, any lessons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
So
the
how?
whiteboard fitted to the room, or is that a mobile whiteboard?
mobile whiteboard.
Okay.
So, for
Well,
example,
okay.
it can be deployed anywhere. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
okay.
we have
That's
things
a
like
mobile. So then it's well, or whatever. We call that equipment or whatever. So
yes.
anything that's movable is equipment, and
Mhm.
let's say anything that is fitted to the room. Yeah, that's a, well, kind of suitability or something that belongs to the room. So okay,
Yeah.
yes, we can show that.
Yeah, because I'm now sitting in the I'm wearing the events scheduler hat. So they
Mm-hmm.
do scheduling for events. We have our graduations. We have chairs to deploy. We have tables to deploy. We have a certain limitation on how many you can deploy. At any point in time, I only have 10 tables. I can only have 10 tables out. I cannot have
Yeah.
like 20 tables. That's impossible. Okay.
No,
So
no. So we
we want to
can,
see whether
let's say,
if this thing can be shown, yeah,
yeah,
in next
we can
demo.
create 10 separate whiteboards for you, for example,
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
which are bookable. And then the question is, do you want them to book together with the room? I think that's a yes.
Hmm.
Or you want us
Yeah.
to book them separately? Both are possible.
Hmm. Yeah. Right. Both are possible. So
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
able
it
to book
doesn't matter for
individually
us.
or together with Zoom. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
So
Jordan, so Robert, do you think should we provide you the requirements for that also?
No need, no
Or
need.
no need, you just
We can
show
create
on
it.
the go,
Yeah,
is it? I
yeah.
see.
We will simulate it because it's very easy to create different object fields. It could be a whiteboard, it could
yeah,
be a remote control car, it could be a laboratory
a
equipment. That's not a
laptop
problem.
car
Yeah.
or yeah.
We will just
Okay, on the go,
uh,
right? I see. Okay.
Yeah.
the
Okay.
other thing, Sean, is it sounds like you guys use quite a lot of auto scheduling. Is that correct? You do a lot of auto
Yes.
scheduling now for your
Yeah.
operation?
So in a year we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do 7 scheduling and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them are auto
Mm.
auto scheduling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understand. Because the way you talk already, I roughly can feel that you guys have been running that auto scheduling engine to generate all your class sets. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, last question is do you allow let's say students or let's say teachers to actually book the rooms themselves, like a chope system. Like for
No.
example, a
No,
student, okay, let's say a classroom is available because nobody used it for the last 24 hours. That classroom now becomes available for a teacher or a student to actually book and then use it.
no, we don't
It's a
allow the
last minute
students
request.
and the lecturers to go. We do not allow.
Do you
But
want
we
to?
can
You want
explore another
to?
option for users to book. That means the students go to their coordinators and coordinators has access to book, 2 weeks down the road, maybe. But we cannot allow them to book like, next year because we haven't do
Yeah,
any
no.
scheduling.
You,
Yeah,
you can
that
do a
kind of
booking.
configuration.
Yes, yes. You can do a booking where it's like time-based one. That means you release the room 24 hours before. You know
Mm.
that no one's going to use that. And that becomes
Mhm.
available to certain type of users to book. That's a possibility.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
we may be exploring such as well.
Okay, so maybe let's show you that also. The last one is sorry, I got a lot of last ones. Curriculum planning. How do you do your curriculum setup? When you set up your program of study, your modules, your credit, your credit numbers. Let's say you have this particular subject, and then all the credit and all the things that you need to build a curriculum. What are you guys using right now?
We are okay. So these are all managed by our users. They will go into our LMS system to create all these things, and whatever that's created inside, it will synchronize into our current system. Our current system will show what is the department. So maybe let's say it's AU001, for example. That's one department, and then what is the study? Is it a graduate, undergrad? Is it a certification? Is it a preparatory course? And then what term, what intake, etc. So all this will be put into our current system. So the first level is always department. In our structure, the first level is department. Below department will be what are the instance. We call it instance lah. So it will contain information like, it is one string of words, contains what is the university, what is the type of study, and what is the intake and year. So it is one string, this data. So under this thing we call instance, we have all the individual modules. And then under modules, we have the groups. So how many groups for each module? So all this will be synchronized from our LMS system. And what will be synchronized will also be the enrollment number for each subject. May not go into the group, but each subject, maybe at group level as well, they will tell us what is the enrollment capacity. And using that, we will then allocate venue to them based on their capacity.
Got it.
Mm.
Very good, very good. Okay, I'm done. RJ, you good on your side?
No, I'm good. Well, there's a lot to tell and show, so that's always nice.
Yeah, we might need to break it up into
2 sessions, right?
2 sessions,
Yeah.
because I think there's quite a lot.
To
And I
demo.
suspect Sean and his team might ask us. Yeah, they might ask us as we demo. They might ask us on the fly, can you do this? Can you do this? And that might extend the session.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we most probably will spend 2 workshops, at least 2 workshops. Yeah.
We understand. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. We'll
Will be fun. Nice.
some dates. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Priyanka.